Have you ever wondered what if Luffy chooses different crewmates for his crew? Well, as Luffy is having a kind heart, he almost picked everyone as kind as him, except for these two weirdos. But what happens if he picks everyone who is a monster or has the exact opposite mentality? Will the journey still be joyful as in the original series? Or it would be so depressing and turn evil like Blackbeard's crew? Or it might be as disgusting as the Beast Pirates? Let's find it out. Luffy, after turning 16 years old, he sets a sail to the sea. His first destination in the original series was Shell Island to meet Zoro, but in this case, he finds out that a former pirate of Roger's crew is still not retired. You all know how much Luffy is excited to know much about Roger and his crew's journey. So, that pirate is none other than Buggy the Clown. He tells Buggy everything about his dream, and he also tells that he is a pupil of Shanks. After Buggy hearing Shanks' name, Buggy's head was exploding with anger as he was holding a massive amount of grudge on Shanks. He instantly rejects Luffy's offer and says he already has a crew, but our boy Luffy is not going to give up that soon. So, he wipes out every single man in Buggy's crew and proves how strong he actually is. Luffy also offers Buggy to take the cashier position in his crew. We all know how much Buggy is addicted to money and gold. Seeing Luffy's potential, he makes some criminal plans for his future about how to use Luffy and steal as much treasure as he finds. So, we see Buggy the Clown as Luffy's first buddy in his crew. They both now move to the Arabasta Kingdom, looking for his new crewmate. In search of a new crewmate, they unfortunately meet Ace, just like in the original series. As Luffy's crew currently has only 2 members, they decide to travel together. Ace explains that Crocodile is the boss for this island, and people see him as a king. Ace also tells about Crocodile's other criminal side to Luffy, which actually tempted Luffy and Buggy to make him as their other crewmate, as Crocodile has insane leadership skills and could be a great vice captain. Earlier in the original series, we see Strawhats facing so much trouble to reach out to the Crocodile because of his Baroque works organization. But this time, having Ace on his side, they have much more strength as Ace is having more experience exploring new places alone. They almost defeat every Baroque they faced, but unfortunately, Luffy finds interesting about Mr. 2 and his insane imitation skills. At first, Mr. 2 rejects the offer, but meeting the second time again in the different place made his heart melt on Luffy and Buggy's. So, Mr. 2 sees a better captainship in Luffy compared to Crocodile. So yeah, we see him joining Luffy. Luffy, Ace, Buggy, and Mr. 2, 4 of them face Crocodile and defeat him successfully. In the original series, after fighting Luffy, Crocodile was arrested by the Marines. But this time, Crocodile and Ms. All Sunday aka Nico Robin both were willing to join Luffy's crew as they don't want to spend their whole life in a sea prism cage. Luffy and Buggy were so happy. So, we see 3 people in the Straw Hats crew in the Arabasta Kingdom. But there is a long way to go for Luffy. We all know how much dumb Luffy is, and none of them still did not betray Luffy till now. Ace was observing everything and wondering why Luffy was teaming up with these kinds of people. He seriously didn't want his little brother to fall into chaos. So, he decides to be along with him and protect him for the whole time. Ace asks Luffy that he wants to be another right-hand man in his crew. Luffy's face now is filled with joy and happiness. But wait, what about Whitebeard? Ace was already the 2nd Division captain in the Whitebeard's crew. I think Ace is not that dumb to leave that position that easily. So he asks his captain to grant a leave for some period of time until his brother Luffy finds some more kind people around him. But little did Ace know Luffy in this timeline only wants to be around the cruel and cunning people, which actually are the common characteristics of a pirate. So we can say Luffy wanted to be a pure pirate, and with these people around, Luffy will learn more about the world and can survive the dominance like celestial dragons. So, he actually had more chances of finding the One Piece faster. But I also think Luffy's journey in this scenario will be less adventurous as everyone around him is as equally strong as Luffy. So if a stronger opponent comes in his way, his crewmates would have defeated him in a blink of an eye, which also blocks Luffy's true powers as he will not be participating in powerful battles. So, we might not see Gear 4 or higher Gears Luffy in this timeline as there is no use to unlock them. So, Luffy makes Crocodile as the navigator for Straw Hat crew as he is much experienced compared to his fellow crewmates. Now their next destination is Skypiea. This time, Skypiea arc will be totally different compared to the original series. You see, in the main timeline, even one of the Straw Hats doesn't know about Haki, which dragged them down to many troubles. But in this scenario, we have Ace and Crocodile who perfectly know how to deal with the Haki users. And the most interesting part is Ace's flame abilities and Crocodile's sand abilities. Both are the weaknesses for Enel's electric abilities, just like Luffy's rubber abilities. Now moving on to the Water 7 arc, I think Luffy would have already become a big shot. Now even Rob Lucci and CP9 should think at least 100 times to challenge Luffy and to take away Nico Robin. So, I think they don't even dare to touch Robin and just give up on the mission to execute her. So, in this timeline, Rob Lucci and his friends just pretend to be some good guys around Luffy, like they acted in the starting of the arc in the original series. And talking about Iceberg, he probably would not build the Thousand Sunny for the Straw Hats, but would have sold a decent ship that would travel around the Red Line. So, Luffy's ship does not have any special features like flying in the air and emergency exit using the power of cola. In the original series, the first adventure for the Straw Hats, after getting the Thousand Sunny, is to enter the Thriller Bark. This only happened because of Luffy's excitement on the weird stuffs and Zoro's challenging spirit, but in this case, his crewmates wouldn't entertain Luffy to enter the island, as this was totally a waste of time for them. So, leaving Brook behind would be a huge loss for Straw Hats, as they have to continue the rest of their journey without any music or entertainment. And in my opinion, Brook might have stuck there for another 100 years, hiding in the shadows. Moving on to the Sabaody this time. Since Luffy having a stronger crew, he would have totally nerfed the Marines, Kuma and Kizaru, having a masterminded right-hand man, aka Sir Crocodile, who is really an expert in distracing and escaping from the world government, make a plan this time as well. He tells Ace to burn out a small part of the town, so the Marines will be distracted to save the people who caught up on fire, and Mr. 2 turning his appearance into several Marine officers and telling the Marine soldiers to execute the plan and return the forces to their Marines' basement. This would make a huge confusion among the Marines, and they would literally fall for this child game. So we don't see any time skip and Luffy and Ace being with Rayleigh for a short-term period. He teaches both of them how to use haki. Sad thing for Boa that she could never meet the dream man of her life, Luffy, as Kuma failed to teleport him to the Amazon Lily. Having haki now, Luffy's confidence was increased so much that he wouldn't feel weak around his teammates. As he also had Ace by his side, Ace wouldn't turn into a donut in this timeline because he was with Luffy the whole time and was never handed over to the world government by Blackbeard. Now we see Luffy achieving his goals much earlier compared to the main timeline, as he was not separated from his crew. He will easily defeat Hody Jones in the Fishman Island, and coming to the Punk Hazard this time, Luffy will be much impressed by the intelligence of Caesar and offers him to join the crew. But the sad thing is, Caesar was too afraid of Doflamingo, so he would reject Luffy's offer first. But after Luffy and his crew defeated Doflamingo in the Dressrosa arc without any trouble, Caesar instantly comes back to Luffy and apologizes for his rejection. He also tells him he wanted to join his team, as he now had nothing to do. We all know about Luffy. He never rejects anyone. Instead, he even asks everyone he meets to join his crew. So, we see a spot filling with Caesar. Now traveling so far, they decide to take on the two Emperors of the Sea, aka Big Mom and Kaido. This would be a bit of a difficult task for Luffy, as he doesn't have any sacrificing teammates like Zoro and Sanji. This time, Luffy had to fight both of the monsters only using his haki and without his Gear 5. We don't know which current Straw Hat would backstab Luffy in this arc, because you know, everyone is filled with greediness, and whenever they find a better and stronger captain, they would switch their teams. We all know Buggy and Caesar, both of them are totally inexperts when it comes to backstabbing, and Crocodile would fight along by Luffy's side until they have an upper hand, but when they started to lose against them, he would abandon his captain and flee from the opponents. The only trustworthy crewmates for Luffy now are Ace, Mr. 2, and Nico Robin. After Luffy losing the battle, they would take him to a safe place and start to treat his wounds. So, this would happen for Luffy if he takes a huge wrong steps in choosing his friends. Hope this video tells you how important the original Straw Hat members are for Luffy. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next video.